So one of the most intense things about COVID that taught us as an organization primarily working in rural internet, and I like to believe that we're like the pioneers of rural broadband right now. We've provided more than 1,000 villages internet access in rural parts of India. We are dedicated just to rural access, like we don't compete in cities and stuff. And one of the most mind-blowing things for us was how policies were passed in terms of access to communications and education, right? So you're basically forcing people to work online and study online, and so you're supposed to make money online. This is for the adults, and for the younger people you're basically saying that, hey, study online. But now what if you come from a village that doesn't have internet access? So straight up you're basically cutting them out of economy. You're basically risking the education of an entire generation of 200 million, 400 million children. Like you're breeding 3 years of lack of education at the time you're supposed to get that education. Like at the age of 12, I don't want to learn ABC. So this was one of the most messed up ideas. Like, how can you study online when you don't have internet access? How can you work online when you don't have internet access? And if your village doesn't have this access, there needs to be some kind of way to compensate them. There needs to be some kind of an arrangement to bring internet access in these places as a priority basis. It's a fundamental human right we're cutting them from. These are honest, hardworking Indians. They're our brothers and sisters. And to be able to say that, hey, you can't work anymore, and you can't study, your children can't study anymore, and that's just crazy. So just to give you guys an example, we have 613,000 villages in India. To just understand how large India is as a civilization, or a culmination of civilizations, is imagine you had to spend one night in every village, and you had this kind of time portal, and you travel to another village by this time portal, right? You would still need 220 plus years something to travel all of India. It's a crazy large country, right? And within this, you have still about 10 to 20%, and these are official numbers, I'm sure it's a lot more, right? You still have 10 to 20% kind of villages that have never got broadband access. They don't have telecommunications. That's crazy. Even if there is mobile network, it's hardly working. You have to go to that tower, you have to go to that mountain, climb up, you might get reception, 1 or 2 bars, you can send some text, come back, right? This is messed up. Children can't study this way. So basically there are rules being passed, and I don't think the government said study online or whatever, but I'm just saying these were individual schools and different kind of people taking on this practice, assuming that everyone has internet. They don't, and the people who don't have internet, they don't have the voice to protest about it because they don't have this. You know what I'm trying to say? They're stuck in their places. You just don't know what's going on there. Imagine passing a policy where you somehow managed to reach about 600,000 villages with basic till 4th standard kind of school, right? And now you shut that down as well. And there's no internet access. You just went backward to at least 60,000 villages, something that just didn't have access anymore. So it's just purely being in information darkness.